Hey, good morning everyone. Thanks for joining part 2 in our 3-part series on building out your 2017 online lead generation campaign. So in episode 1 last week, we did a high-level overview of the strategy that we're pursuing, which is focusing mostly on converting the traffic, the visitors that are coming to your website, into a sales lead or an e-commerce transaction at a higher percentage than what you're doing last year. So we showed you how to calculate your conversion rate for 2016 and set goals on how to grow that for 2017, as well as refreshed some of the tactics that we talked about in earlier episodes. Squeeze pages for permission assets to capture leads. And in today's episode, we're going to focus on actually building out in an Excel file the real actionable plan that you're going to use for 2017 and exactly what these permission assets are that people are going to opt in to generate sales leads on your site. So all of this starts with, like usual, starts with a Google search. So initially what we want to do is find all of the permission assets that are available to us to use, and then we will map those out onto a spreadsheet of our sitemap showing where to position them on the site. And then finally, we're going to also look at other conversion tactics, other trust seals and call to actions, unique sales propositions that we would also focus around these on those same sales sitemap spreadsheet. So first thing we want to do is find out what assets are available for us to use. So the easy way of doing that, in this webinar today, I'm going to use a mythical company that is a lab equipment distributor. So I've done a fake sitemap for them and everything. This way I don't have to do a slide deck presentation. We can actually click around on it live. So we're going to focus on their balances category to start with. So we're going to go to Google. We're going to pretend this distributor is kind of a full line distributor, carries half a dozen or so balance manufacturers. So we're going to search for terms like how-to lab weighing guide. You could do calibration. The one I really like searching for is common errors, and then your application that you're writing about. Because using Maslow's hierarchy of needs, of course, if we're promoting a permission asset that says things like 10 common mistakes or be sure to do this before this, then that's going to capture people's attention because they want to avoid making those mistakes. So we'll just start with something basic, how to and guide and the application. So lab weighing. And if we throw that search into Google, we're going to come back with lots of really good assets. So here is one from Radweg on pharmacy risk assessment for mass measurement processes. And then another one on calibration, in-house calibration and use of weighing machines. So this is from a source in the UK. And here's one from Sartorius talking about the new USP, Chapter 41. So first time it's been updated in 20 years. It's definitely timely news piece of content. And here's kind of a ultimate one. Weighing the right way, experience improved weighing, flawless operation, and precise results. So a guidebook from, of course, Mettler Toledo, who is awesome at producing these sort of things. So for this example, I'm going to assume that we're distributors of all of these companies, Radweg, Mettler, and Sartorius. Other common Google searches you could do to find these sort of permission assets would be like site, domain name, so site:/mt.com, and then .pdf as your search term, for example. And then you come back with a lot of search results specifically for that one manufacturer. So if you do not carry, in this example, a full line of balances, just do the search for the 2 or 3 manufacturers that you do carry. So then that's going to help you uncover some permission assets that the manufacturers that you represent have already published. And that's what we're going to focus on in this episode. Next week, we're going to talk about producing your own permission assets. But in this one, we want to build out we want to fit the building out of the whole calendar, the whole editorial calendar for next year, the marketing plan, in this episode, so we don't have time to getting into actually creating your own unique permission assets, but we will cover that next week. And on previous webinars, we've done plenty of examples already of effective permission asset squeeze pages and banner ads promoting them. So everyone should be familiar with them by now. If not, go back and reference back those previous webinars. So as you can see here now, we have 4 basically URLs and PDF assets. So what are we going to do with those? The first thing we need to do is catalog them. So we're going to take an inventory of all of our permission assets. So we're just going to create a spreadsheet with a few different tabs across the bottom, but right now let's just focus on this first tab, and we'll name this spreadsheet balances permission assets, because that's the category of the website we're working on in this example. So how would you choose which category to work on first? Take a look at your analytics and see where you have the highest potential return. So look at which categories are attracting the most traffic on your site, and that's what we're doing in this example, choosing balances. So we want to create a few column headers. We want to write asset title, audience, pages, meaning pages on your site, the type of permission asset it is, the source, and then the URL to it. So just a little tip when you're making Excel file spreadsheets, always put the URL column at the last column of the spreadsheet, and then it still looks pretty, and if you need to print it out, you can just select the print area before the URL. So we'll write down all of the asset titles here. So again, we're just taking these from the cover of the PDF file here and put those into column A. Into column B, remember this is already implied that this audience that would be interested in your permission asset is already in the balances category, because that's what this the spreadsheet is focused on. So when we say all, we don't mean all of your website visitors, we mean specifically everyone in this category. This one on USP Chapter 41, only applicable in North America or US. So we'll put USA as the audience there. We found that one on in-house calibration by UKAS, which is the UK Accreditation Society, and they are the ones that monitor the calibration labs. So we'll put UK in that one. So when visitors are coming from to the site from the UK, then maybe that's a good banner ad we can show them to encourage people to get to that permission asset. And then finally, this last one, pharmacy risk assessment for mass measurement would obviously only be interesting to people in the pharmaceutical industry. So don't worry about what these tags are that you're putting in here. These are not, mapping it to any pages on your site yet. That's what we're doing 3 steps from now. But for now, just put in whatever tag that you want. So, and put in multiple ones if you want as well. Then C, pages. This column refers to the pages on your site that off the top of your head you would likely want to place this. Again, these don't have to be exact category names. This is not the final document we're using. It's just, it saves you from opening up the document again when we are mapping them out if you just put something in rough here. So analytical balance, weights. So if we have a test weights category on the site, that would be a good one to put that article about calibration, and pharma balances. So assuming that the site's going to have a landing page for the pharmaceutical market. So that's what pages means, the pages on your site that you would likely place this. Again, you're not committing to anything right now in this tab of the sheet. And then column D is what type of guide it is. Just throw in whatever tags you want here. So I typically use guide if it's a longer form piece of content, and then just how to if it's a shorter, more informal one, and news like that USP 41 article because it's timely, so it's relevant to the time, and then you might want to go tag it as news so that you can go back and refresh it next year. Maybe it's not relevant news anymore or timely anymore. And then put down the source of where you got it from. I tried to include the country if possible, so this one was A&D Weighing Japan. So UKAS, obviously if they're using a different type of measurement at the most simplest level, we don't want to promote that permission asset to countries who don't use that unit of measurement. And then again, the URL. This URL should go directly to the PDF file if possible. And you'll notice here the first one's not a PDF file, it's just a HTML, a web page. And just that manufacturer, A&D Japan, happened to just post this as a plain normal page on their website instead of making it into a PDF, or maybe they have a PDF version too, we just didn't find it in today's quick search. So don't worry about that. You can take that and put it into a PDF as well to make it into a downloadable permission asset. The reason why I search PDFs the first go around is that you'll often find like very good content usually inside of a PDF file, because the manufacturer's printing those out and using those for sales support out in the field. So this is our first tab. So we've got the columns asset title, audience, pages, type, source, and URL. That's it. So now, after you've done all this Google searching, the more you can find, the better. The more targeted ones, if we could find one for the food and beverage industry, or one specifically for biotech, the more you can find, the better, because the more targeted of permission asset, the more targeted placement you can have on your site, and the promotion of it will be much more successful. So we're going to go on to the second tab now, which is your sitemap. So this is a sample sitemap that I built quickly for the lab balance category of this Mythical Distributors website. So we have top level category, lab balance, and then some product subcategories: analytical balance, precision scale, micro balance, calibration weights, and underneath the lab balance section, a lab weighing blog, and then some application landing pages, which in this example is pharmaceutical weighing. So it matches up nicely to that PDF we found. And then the third level, so column C, is really your the individual product detail page. So this is a kind of typical site example that's 3 levels deep from the home page. So C is actually the 4th level of the site. So that's kind of typical for many of the distributors on the call today. So you can get the sitemap. Usually if you just type in yourdomain.com /sitemap.xml, you will find a sitemap that looks something like this on your site. But if you don't have this, then you can use, there's lots of like websitebuilder.org, for example. There's some free online tools that you can use which will build out a sitemap for you by crawling your site. There's also a great tool called Screaming Frog. I have it highlighted at the bottom of my screen here. I don't think you might not be able to see it, but it's Screaming Frog SEO Spider. And the free version will actually crawl a site of like 5,000 pages and create a sitemap like this for you as well. So now we have the sitemap, the list of assets. Now we're going to put them both together. So we're going to basically copy our sitemap from this tab, create a new tab called Balances Asset Placement, USA, and paste in the sitemap. So that will get us columns A, B, and C. And now we're going to take some elements from the permission assets. Really all we need is the title though. So then we'll map those out on the document, and then when you want to reference back to see the link to it or where they came from, then click the Weighing Permission Assets tab then. But for now, let's just highlight all of the items in the asset title column, paste it into anywhere in this sheet, but we've added 2 new columns, primary asset title and secondary asset title. And so now we can go through and go, okay, so what pages within the balances section of our site do we want to place a banner ad promoting that permission asset? So here you can see analytical balances category. Okay, there, let's use the Weighing the Right Way PDF, and the secondary asset that we'll promote on there. So just giving one of them a little bit more importance than the other, or whichever one you think is going to be more successful in generating sales leads. And we'll map them out. So, some general rules to follow is, like this one, the new USP, remember if we go back to sheet 1, that was from Sartorius. So we don't really want to position, even though it wouldn't have, the Sartorius logo or anything on the banner ad, just want to be good ethics to position that Sartorius asset on a, or in this instance, this is a Sartorius balance, so we wouldn't want to position the Mettler Toledo asset on the Sartorius balance. But we can position the Mettler Toledo asset in the top level category here because it does contain Mettler products in that category. So no, written rules, nothing's written in stone on that. Just that's ethically what I would recommend. And you can see here product detail pages only have the primary asset. You could put a secondary one in if you want, just with the limited number of I was able to find, just for this example, I didn't have enough. But here you can map out different ones to different categories. So you can see under the calibration weights, things to keep in mind when using analytical balances. That was the one talking about common errors. So likely that article talks about miscalibration of the balances. So that would be a good one to tie into the calibration weights category. And of course, the one that was focused on the pharmacy industry under the pharmaceutical landing page. So the goal of this is now we have everything that we found that could be a downloadable PDF from our Google searching and your internal inventory. So you probably have these already that sales reps have sent you, or you've written your own. If you haven't, we're going to talk about that next week. And then we took the sitemap and combined those two into a map. So now you have exactly which asset you're going to position on which page. So that's a major part of your conversion rate optimization, because that's going to have your call to actions of how you're going to generate the email addresses and contact information of the visitors coming to your site. But we want to ensure it really happens, right? That everything is executed well. So there's lots else that needs to go into a product conversion rate optimization plan, and that's placing trust seals and anything else on the page is going to increase conversion. So things that we found increase conversion are having testimonials, having the logos of your clients, absolutely having an offer, having a guarantee, listing associations that you belong to, and upcoming events that you're participating in. When a user sees all of these things, even if it's on a product detail page and they see the ACS logo on there and join us booth 1805, that builds a lot of trust in the eyes of the purchaser. So we want to make sure that all of these elements are mapped out correctly on the site, instead of just saying, hey, put this testimonial from GSK on all of our pages. There might be more strategic ones to use. So what we've done is take the last tab here, the assets placement, pasted that into a new tab, and then added those 5 new columns that we just spoke about. So here, go through, take a look, again, inventorying. So take a look at the current testimonials that you have right now for your site and figure out which ones be best shown in which sections of the site. So lots of balance customers are obviously metrology labs. So we, precision metrology, maybe one of the biggest ones in the US. So if we had a testimonial from them, that's a great one to place prominently throughout the site. But down here on the calibration weights, maybe since they're thinking about government compliance and calibration of their balance, maybe having a testimonial from the EPA or NIST would be more beneficial there. And on the blog, maybe people, if they see Brookhaven National Labs as a testimonial, they think thought leadership, research, innovation, and maybe that would be a good one to put on the blog section. And of course, make sure it's a pharmaceutical company that you're giving a testimonial to on the pharmaceutical weighing page or from. So same thing with the logos. Really think about which client logos you're positioning on which products on the site. If you have balances or a product that is definitely more geared towards a pharmaceutical customer, make sure you're using logos from those clients in that industry. And of course, the offer would be different as you go throughout the site. But let's make sure that we have something covering all of the key pages. So maybe free shipping is your standard offer on balances. And here is a different one promoting 25% off the calibration weights with the purchase of a balance. Also the guarantee. So these are all look very similar because of course we're already in that balances section of the site. If you had every different section, if you had balances, centrifuges, pipettes, everything laid out on the spreadsheet, obviously you'd see much more diversity in the offer guarantees and testimonials and so forth that you're putting out there. So choose the guarantee. So guarantee could also be a reinforcing your unique sales propositions, maybe largest selection in the USA, ships next day, whatever it is. put in a secondary one as well, just like we had with the PDF call to actions for the permission assets. We had a primary and a secondary. Let's also combine the offer and the guarantee to build a really strong call to action. And then finally, associations and events. So American Clinical Lab Association, and those would be the two associations used as general throughout the site. And then when you get down to the pharma page, having the PHRMA Association as the association shown would be much more beneficial on that page instead. And then same with events, for example. So we have PitCon and ACS as the general trade shows listed on all the pages, and then Interfex listed on specifically on the pharmaceutical pages. So now we've done two really actionable tabs of this spreadsheet. So we're going to take this first tab, we're going to give that to a designer to first go ahead and kind of create those positions on the page to put the banner ads in, and also create the marketing team to create the ad copy, the text that's going to go on the banner ads and on the squeeze page. And then also the designer will create all of that and have it reviewed by you before it goes up on the site. So then also, while they're updating those product and category and application landing pages on the site, they'll also be updating it with the testimonials, client logos, offers, guarantees, associations, and events from the last tab, the CRO Elements tab. So this is obviously a lot of work, but it definitely pays off. This is what's going to increase your conversion rate on your website. And this is something that we can handle from start to finish for you. These assets already exist, so it is a little bit more time effective than creating brand new permission assets from scratch. But this should be a really integral part of your 2017 campaign to generate sales leads. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions, please email them to help@scigsi.com. That's SCIGSI for Sci Global Services Inc. And we'd love to help you out. Or you can always call us, 188-699-7245. Get in touch with us and we'll send you invites to the live webinar that we do every Wednesday, which is more of a workshop version format of what I just went through in terms of the content, because there's lots of questions that come in while we present it. But thanks a lot for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.